Hello everybody, this is Gergely Vandor speaking from Kilgore, and today's webinar is about processing SDL Trados and Wordfast projects in MemoQ. I'm hoping that you can all hear me well and see my screen as well. Unfortunately, we have recent problems with our webinar software, so the questions box and the chat box are not working right now. But if you have any questions after the webinar, you can reach me at the address that you can see on screen right now, or you can turn to us as always to the through the support address. Okay. So I have a bunch of slides that I want to show you first and give you the basics of the topic, and after that I will try to show it in action as well. First of all, obviously we are talking about using MemoQ as a replacement for another tool, in this case Trados and Wordfast. Probably I'm stating the obvious here, but let's just go through the very basics. So the scenario we are facing is that you probably have a client, or if you're a translator, you have a translation agency that wants to send you a translation job in a Trados format or Wordfast format, but you want to be able to use MemoQ and work with MemoQ instead. This obviously involves being able to import and export the translation documents themselves, but other than that, you will probably want to import translation memories and turn bases as well. I'm going to talk about that briefly as well. And naturally, in all of these cases, you want to deliver translations in the very same format as you received. These are the tools we are covering. Obviously, we have MemoQ, which is the translation tool in these scenarios, or the tool that is used for editing or review. And there are actually 4 other tools involved at least. We have an old version of Trados, the 2007 or before. We have the new SDL Trados Studio, 2009 or 2011. They are not very different. And we have 2 different Wordfast products as well. The old Wordfast, which was a plugin for Microsoft Word and was called Wordfast Classic. And the new Wordfast, which has its own format and is called Wordfast Professional. And we are not just talking about 4 different products here, but 4 different formats as well. For the old Trados 2007 or before, we have 2 different formats. One is TTX, the format you see in Tag Editor, and use it with Tag Editor. And there is the older Word-based format, which we refer to as Trados bilingual document. You probably remember this from the old days if you used to work with them. These are these funny Word documents that look like a normal, fully formatted document at first, but as soon as you turn on the display of hidden text, you will see the source text as hidden text as well, and you will also see some strange segmentation codes. I think I quickly show this to you just to make sure that everybody understands what I'm talking about. So this is it. At first sight, this is a plain Microsoft Word document. As soon as you turn on hidden text, you see the source here, and you see these funny segmentation codes between the source and target and before each segment pair. So these are the two formats of Trados, SDL Trados 2007 and older. Actually, Wordfast Classic, the older Wordfast product, uses the same bilingual format. So that is basically not very different from the point of view of MemoQ. And we have Trados Studio, which uses SDL XLIF, which is an extension to the XLIF standard, which means that even though this is a standard format, it has some points where it can be extended, and Trados Studio uses these extensions very heavily, while MemoQ at this point doesn't really know these Trados Studio specific extensions. Long story short, it is impossible to make a lossless transfer of these documents from Trados Studio into MemoQ. There are some specific things that will make the experience a little bit different for a MemoQ user than a Trados Studio user. I will say a few more words about this a few minutes later. And there is Wordfast Professional, the newer Wordfast product. It uses its very own format, which is called TXML, and it is well supported in MemoQ since version 5.0. All of the formats I've been talking about are bilingual formats, so they contain at least source segments, there are translations, and in some cases some other information as well. There are some general tips for working with bilinguals from other tools in MemoQ, and I'm going to run through these tips right now. In most cases, probably all of these, for all of these bilingual formats, you use the add document or add document as import command to add them to your MemoQ project. This can be a little bit confusing because even though we are talking about bilingual formats, you do not need to use the import update bilingual command. In all cases except for one of them, when you are finished with your translation or editing or review job, use the export dialog or export stored path command to export to the deliverable final format. All of these several import and export options can be a little bit confusing, but there is some good news that we are working on making this simpler with less comments and less confusion for an upcoming version of MemoQ. Many of these bilingual formats also contain information about the source and target language, so they tell what the source language is and what the target language is. And what you need to know about this is that this information is not touched by MemoQ. It will export the same language information to the document you export from it. This is important because even though Trados and Wordfast and MemoQ more or less support the same languages, but still it is not exactly the same because, for example, Trados refers to German as Germany, while MemoQ has a plain German in the list of supported languages as well. So there's a difference here in approach because Trados always includes the local information in the languages, and MemoQ only includes the local if it is required for clarification. In most cases, okay, I think I have this point twice here. Sorry about this. About exporting. In many cases, some preparation is required on these bilingual files to make sure that MemoQ will work well with them. You either need to communicate this to your client or project manager, or in some cases, if you have the software you need, you can do them yourself. I will detail all of these preparational steps for all the formats. Okay, I think from this general introduction I can jump to each specific format right now. I start with SDL Trados Studio. There are two things you may receive from a translation agency or client that uses Trados Studio. You may either receive a translation package, or you may receive a translation document. At this point, the Trados Studio package format is not supported by MemoQ, so you cannot directly import such a package. Which means that if you need to take translation memory, translation documents, and terminology for your current job, you will need all of these as separate files from your client or project manager. On the other hand, Trados Studio packages are just zip container files. So if you are so inclined and have some basic understanding of technology, you may be able to get the translation memory and the terminology and the documents from inside the package manually. Next point is, I have already mentioned the transfer of a Trados Studio document into MemoQ is not yet lossless. Just two examples here. If some segments were locked inside the Trados Studio and you transfer the document from Trados Studio into MemoQ, you will not see those translation segments logged. Also, Trados Studio supports multiple comments for each translation segment, which is not yet possible with MemoQ. We are, of course, well aware of how problematic these things can be in some cases when these missing features are actually required by a translation agency or a client. So we are working on better support for the SDL XLIF format right now. The few words about how SDL XLIF document needs to be prepared in Studio. There is a batch command called prepare in Trados Studio. This, of course, must be run on each document that is going to be sent out to a MemoQ user. And we've seen that in some cases the missing target language information can be a problem, which can be prevented by opening the document once in Trados Studio before sending it out to the MemoQ user and saving it. This will make sure that the target language information is filled as well. And the file that you need to send out to the MemoQ user is in the target language folder of the Trados Studio project that is being prepared. So if you work for a translation agency, you should keep this in mind. Or if you are a if you are a vendor working for a translation agency, you may need to communicate these preparational steps to your client. Next up is the oldest format of all of these after the newest format. I'm going to talk about the bilingual doc files or RTF files from the old Trados 2007 or before, and Wordfast Classic. So these two pieces of software can produce the same bilingual document file. This is the format with the hidden text and the weird segmentation codes I've shown you. Once again, you import these files using the add document or add document as command. This is not listed here. And when you export, you have two choices. You can either export a bilingual file, which is the same format as you got, or you can export a target language format, which is monolingual. So if you need to deliver the bilingual format, this is the case when you need to use the export bilingual command and choose the Trados bilingual option. And there is one more option you need to make sure that is not used. This is simple formatting. If you choose simple formatting, you will get a much simplified document, which is basically just a list of segment pairs, each in their own paragraph. And this is not what you want in these cases, I think. What you need is the same fully formatted file that you received in the first place. So do not use the simple formatting option. And if you need to export a monolingual file, just a target language, you can use the export stored path or the export dialog command. Once again, we understand this can be confusing, and we are working on making this easier. There's another common case when the document you receive is for translation is a monolingual Word document, a doc file, or probably more maybe an RTF file, and you are asked to deliver a bilingual. This is possible as well, but there's a trick. This doesn't work with the newer Word format docx, and it doesn't work either if you use the import as docx import option for a doc file. So well, basically that's it. So if you have a doc file for translation, you can import it as a monolingual and export the bilingual from it. For these bilingual doc formats, there is a limitation in MemoQ. Those bilingual documents that contain footnotes will not import into MemoQ. You will receive an error message when you attempt importing them. About preparing these documents, they need to be fully segmented. In many cases, these documents are only partially segmented, so some segments have source and target variants, and some others only contain the source. MemoQ needs full segmentation, and you can either ask your client to do this for you, or you can have a demo copy of Trados 2007 installed for yourself, and then you can use the translate command in Trados Workbench with the segment unknown sentences option to prepare the document to make sure that it is fully segmented. So if you receive a partially segmented file, you may need to do this. And next format here is the Trados tag editor format, or TTX. This is probably still the most common of all of the formats we are talking about, or maybe similarly common as the bilingual doc files. Once again, the full segmentation is a requisite here. So you need fully segmented TTX files. There is one thing that is asked by many of our users, and this is about the ini files they receive with Trados TTX files, and they ask how they can use it with MemoQ. The answer here is that the ini file is not required for MemoQ to handle TTX files. There are two ways to import a Trados TTX file into MemoQ. You can either choose to have inline tags, which will give you a very similar experience to what you get in Trados tag editor. You will see the text of each tag. You can reorder the text, and in some cases when they are not needed, you can leave them out from the translation and so on. So you have all the almost all of the tag-related functionality that you are used to from you may be used to from tag editor. And that's the other option. You can use the MemoQ tags option, in which case none of the above applies. You will see these numbered tags with the with these strange brackets, and you cannot reorder them. You cannot leave them out. But there is one interesting thing that can still make this type of import useful, and this is that cosmetic formatting from TTX file is preserved. By cosmetic formatting, I mean that I'm referring to formatting that is used for display in tag editor only. So this cosmetic formatting doesn't affect the end result at all. It only tells tag editor to display some text in bold or with another color and so on. In some rare cases, this is required by some translation agency workflows. TTX has been supported for several years by MemoQ, and we've seen that this support has been quite solid, and hundreds or even thousands of people use this functionality to replace tag editor with MemoQ. Once again about preparation, sorry for repeating myself, but full segmentation is required here. And you can do this segmentation the same way as you do for the bilingual doc format. And the last tool and the last format I haven't talked about is Wordfast Professional. This is the newer Wordfast product, which uses its own file format, a bilingual XML-based format called tXML. This is directly supported in MemoQ since version 5, as I had mentioned. For this format, we have developed specific import and export logic. So only there are some very minor loss of fidelity. And this is about cases when a translation segment in Wordfast has more than one comment, which is not yet possible in MemoQ. Preparation is quite easy, and I think in most cases this is without any problems. You just take the document in Wordfast and save it to get the tXML file that you can import into MemoQ, and the same tXML file as exported by MemoQ can be used in Wordfast again. After talking a lot about documents, I can say a few words about resources as well. For translation memories, you can work with the TMX format, which is the most basic exchange format of the translation industry, I believe. I think every serious translations tool provides support for TMX. So you can just take a translation memory in any translation tool, export the translation memory into TMX format, and move that TMX file into another translation tool. Still, you need to know that there is almost always some loss of leverage involved in this process. For example, text might be handled differently in one translation tool. So if you import this very same Word document into two different tools, you may see different tagging. And this different tagging means that the translation memory will not correspond fully to the translation document. In the case of the older Trados product, Trados 2007 and before, we have developed a specific import routine for TMX files prepared by Trados. And this is very simple to use. When you import a TMX file from Trados 2007 or before into MemoQ, there's an import option you need to tick, and this is process Trados TMX for best results. This will obviously be useful if you use a Trados memory and you need to translate TTX files. It can still be useful with with Word documents as well. There's one thing that you need to pay attention to, and this is exporting the proper version of TMX, because there were some older TMX versions, but you need to export into the latest TMX version from Trados workbench. So this is TMX 1.4b. If you use any of the other export options, your results might not be perfect. About exchanging term bases, at this point, the only real option is Excel sheets or delimited text files that you can export from Excel or other workbook software. And there are a couple relatively easy but very useful tricks that you need to pay attention to. Or you don't really need to, but if you do, your life will be way easier. First of all, if you have your list of terms in an Excel sheet, it is recommended to include the names of the languages in the first row in English. So if you want to include English, just write English in English or Hungarian, etc. As you see in this in this slide, you can have several columns for the same language, which you can use for synonyms. And there's another trick. If you work with Excel, do not export to the CSV file type, but choose Unicode text. This is a very similar format actually, but it uses Unicode for text encoding, which means that you will not run into any kind of character corruption issues, be it Arabic or Japanese or anything else. All of those characters will be saved intact. The other difference is that instead of commas, it will use tabs for separation between terms. And if you do as I suggested, importing into MemoQ will be absolutely painless. If you used Unicode, if you exported into Unicode text from Excel, you don't need to worry about anything when importing the text file into MemoQ. MemoQ will recognize that your file is Unicode, and all of the characters are absolutely safe. But in case you receive terminology data from your client or translation agency in some other encoding, you need to pay attention to the top of the import dialog where you can choose an encoding, and the bottom pane where there is a preview. Basically, if your client or project manager can tell you which encoding was used, you need to use some trial and error to find the proper encoding, such as choose encodings from the top list until you see intact characters in the preview pane. One more word here is a delimited text file like this obviously will always contain terms, but they can also contain definitions or other types of information, and you can use the fields section in the middle of this pane, in the middle of this dialog, to map those columns of your Excel sheet to fields of the MemoQ term base. One more thing here that might be useful in some cases is that you can import a TMX file, which is normally for translation memories. So you can take a TMX file and import it into a term base as well. Okay, as I said, in this time I cannot take questions in the webinar, but I'm quite happy to take any questions to my email, which is here, or you can write questions to the support address as well. Okay, we still have some 20 minutes left, so I try to demonstrate some of these things live. So I think that we can first take a look at the TTX format. So I have Trados tag editor in front of myself. This is the Trados 2007 product. This is a very basic document here, and I can quickly verify that actually every translation segment has been pre-segmented. So we have source version here, target version here. But if this wasn't the case, I would need to fire up Workbench to do this segmentation. I have a different language of my okay, of my document and my translation memory. I will not try to guess if this is Danish or something else, but anyway, what you need to do is go to, I will close this and show it once again. So you go to Tools menu, Translate, and choose this Segment Unknown Sentences option if you want to segment a TTX file or a bilingual Word document and that has not been segmented before. So you basically just add the document here. I just choose a random file here and choose Translate. Obviously, if you do not use a translation memory, you can just create a dummy translation memory in Trados Workbench. For this preparation, you do not actually need a Trados license. So if you are able to get hold of an Trados 2007 installer, you will be able to do this without paying for an SDL Trados license. Okay, I think I just close Workbench now and fire up MemoQ. I haven't done that yet. And I will be able to show you how you can import such a document into MemoQ. MemoQ, you always start with a project. I think you are, probably most of you are familiar with this. So I'll just quickly create project here. and I can just very simply drag and drop the TTX file into MemoQ. And this is what you will see. I think it's a good thing that I am showing this to you live, because I can right now give you a trick, because this display of text is not very friendly. You have some very long display of text here. So one useful trick is to choose this filtered inline tag view from the format menu, and after that you will receive the same or more or less the same kind of tag display as in Trados tag editor. And you can do your translation as usual and export with using export dialog or export stored path. Same with the sorry, I always choose this by mistake. Same with the bilingual doc format. So this is the, I think I showed this to you once again because you may have forgot this. So from TTX I'm jumping to this bilingual Word document format. This is for the old Trados and the old Wordfast. And once again you can sorry for always choosing the wrong window. So once again you just take such a document and drop it into MemoQ. And one thing that might be interesting to know is that MemoQ automatically recognizes this file as a bilingual. So you get this. I think that if you are used to working with the old Trados or Wordfast, what is useful here is that you have a very clear separation of source and target, but at the same time you have a preview pane where you can see the friendly display of the document as well. And one thing that is worth repeating is that when exporting such a bilingual Word document, you have two options. You either go to export bilingual to create a bilingual type export, and please do not ever turn on simple formatting. So this is what you do if you need a bilingual export, and if you choose export dialog or export stored path, you will create a monolingual document containing the target text only. Okay. Well, I can probably show Wordfast as well. I see it hasn't been started yet. I think in this case I will just very simply open a source file in Wordfast and create a bilingual TXML file out of it. This is actually my email signature file here, so I can save it as bilingual. Maybe here. Sorry, Dan. Okay, I do not remember where I should have saved this, so I would save some location I can remember. So we have a TXML file there, and I can just go to MemoQ, choose Add Document or Add Document As, and I should see the TXML file right here. I had a blue warning for my import because apparently I didn't choose the same languages in Wordfast as in MemoQ, but that's not really relevant here. So this is the view of the Wordfast document inside MemoQ. And well, I can just quickly enter some dummy translation here just to show you that I can export this from MemoQ and open it in Wordfast to get the changes done in MemoQ. So this is the 2 words I have typed in MemoQ. Okay, maybe in the last few minutes I can try to cover SDL Trados as well. Here I am with the Trados Studio project already prepared. The tricky thing that I explained before is that you need to open the document at least once for editing. I don't know what I did here. And just save it to make sure that it is absolutely fully prepared. And one thing I forget, right after importing a document into Studio, you need to run this prepare batch task, which is for this reason, for this time is not displayed to me for some reason in Trados Studio. I don't know why, but normally you should be able to right-click and choose batch tasks and prepare. Okay, and well, I think this might get a bit boring, but if you wanted to import into MemoQ, once again you choose either Add Document or Add Document As, or even just drag and drop the document into the translation document list, and when you are finished you use Export Stored Path or Export Dialog. Okay, I think that even though I haven't used my full 60 minutes here, I have properly covered everything I wanted to. Just let me one more time mention that you can reach me at my email address with questions, or you can also write the support address, which I'm going to type right here for those of you who might not know it. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. I hope it worked well for all of you, and we are going to publish a recording of this webinar if everything goes well, and you will be able to download it from our website from tomorrow. Once again, thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.